Hello, everyone, and welcome to the official Do Good Better podcast. I'm sure you were all expecting Patrick, but today you have me, your co-host, Abby Furchner, and I'm here with Missy Heilman, who is the executive director of BioGirls, which I love this organization so much. I don't know if you know this, Missy, but I was a coach for or a mentor for Girls on the Run. That's like the BioGirls in Minnesota. And so when I found out about BioGirls here in North Dakota, I was so pumped that you guys had something that was similar with it, because Girls on the Run teaches you so many things for young women and young girls, obviously. But Missy, for those who don't know about BioGirls, give us a little insight about what you guys do, and I want to know how you got involved with the organization as well.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here. So BioGirls, our mission is to improve the self-esteem of adolescent girls through empowerment of self in service to others. We've been around since 2013, and I actually founded BioGirls. So that's how I got involved. I just had a desire to give back and be a mentor for young girls, because I could see the struggles that some girls were having, and not every girl has the opportunity to be involved in athletics or theater, or find their thing because of whether it's financials or other family circumstances that prohibit that. And so I just thought, let's start a program where girls can come be themselves, have a mentor in the community that cares about them, someone outside of their family. And then I have been a lifelong runner myself. I ran track in high school and received a scholarship to run at the University of North Dakota. And for me, running has always been such a stress reliever. And that's when I do my best thinking. It's helped me find my very best friends and opened a lot of doors for me. And so I wanted to incorporate running into the program because of those reasons. And I wanted to give girls the opportunity to try it out in a non-competitive way. And so that's how BioGirls was born. And, we've had 8 program years now since 2013. And while we've grown up as an organization and even as a program, the principles have remained the same from the beginning. So we bring girls into this very inclusive environment where they can feel free to be themselves without judgment. As I said a couple of times, it's non-competitive. So we use running to help reinforce the life skills that we're teaching in the lessons. And then, the mentoring is a big component of it. We ask the BioGirls at the end of every season what their favorite part of BioGirls is. And it's always the relationship with my mentor, setting goals, and making new friends. And that's really what we're all about. We're a 12-week program. We have 50 locations across the Midwest right now. And we have big goals despite all of the craziness that's happening right now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just love the mission. I love the backstory about this, because I feel like a lot of people think that for young women or young girls that the self-esteem issues might develop when they hit that high school age, but it really does start happening, and you start noticing those self-esteem issues younger and younger and younger. I feel like young girls of 7 to 8 years old are really starting to notice their bodies more and what they don't like about themselves. And so I think this is such an important program for young girls to be a part of. Is that kind of too what you were seeing as well?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Abby. We always get asked, well, why not middle school? And my answer is, we'll be in middle school someday. But if you look at the research behind girls and self-esteem, it's highest around age 8, and that's around 2nd or 3rd grade. And then by the time girls reach 6th grade and, right around puberty, self-esteem plummets to the low point. And so I always say we are working with girls during this really transformative time in their lives to help them maintain that self-esteem or even increase it. And we're proven. So we take our outcome very seriously. We partnered with 2 really smart researchers, one from the University of Minnesota Crookston and one from Concordia College, people who know statistics and validated tools and things much better than I do. And they have helped implement a research process to really prove out the fact that our 12-week program significantly increases the self-esteem of our participants. So we're really proud of that. A lot of people view us as a running club, and yes, running is a part of it, but as I mentioned before, it's a tool that we use. BioGirls is so much more than running. We do increase the self-esteem of girls at a really important time. And the thing is, girls can be in it for 5 years. They can choose to be in BioGirls from 2nd grade through 6th grade, which we do have many participants that do choose to do that. And every year as they grow, they get something different out of it. They make new friends, girls that they would have never been involved with before. They meet new mentors in the community, and those relationships last.
Yeah, and I know you said that you have tons of locations in across North Dakota. So if I came to you and said, I want to start a program here within my city or whatever, how could you go about that? Can anybody kind of be a mentor, or what's that process like?
Yeah, good question. So it's been such an honor and such a blessing to see the connection to our mission. And at this point, it's all women. I mean, that's not a requirement, but women just connect because they know what these girls are going through. They've been there, they've done that. And sometimes they're even still struggling with some of the things that we talk about in BioGirls, and they get something out of the lesson. Right. So there's 2 levels of volunteerism really when it comes to working with the girls. The first is what we call a site director. So this is the person that says, I'm in Bemidji, Minnesota. There's no BioGirls here. How can I bring it here? And so they, on our website, there's an application to be a site director. We go through a vetting process, which includes an interview and a background check. Just making sure that it's a good fit, and that the full expectations are laid out before they say yes, because to be completely transparent, it is a pretty big job to bring BioGirls to your community. So then they're the ones that are responsible for creating awareness, doing some fundraising locally, finding the 10 to 12 adult mentors to serve for the 12 weeks of the program, and really the logistics behind it all. And then the mentors for each of the programs, they'll apply. We do background checks. So we vet everybody that volunteers at the program because, of course, we're working with children. So that's really important. Their commitment is the 12-week session. So it's 90 minutes, one session a week for 90 minutes over 12 weeks. And they commit to being that mentor, that back patter, that, before COVID times, that, person to give them a hug and say, I'm glad you're here. How was your week? And just be that listening ear that these girls so desperately need. And then as a part of their responsibility, we do small group activities where the discussion is continued based on the large group topic. There's an activity maybe to help practice the skill that we're talking about. And then, of course, be the cheerleader during the running part of the session where, sometimes they're struggling right along with the girls to train for that 5K. So that's really the 2 levels of volunteerism that we have directly with the site.
Oh, I just love how easy it is to get involved and to uplift other girls and kind of, like, obviously it's in the title, be a mentor that, they can maybe be too once they've graduated and once they're in high school and they kind of want to come back and still be involved. But you've mentioned COVID. I think that's the number one hot topic, obviously, still. How did BioGirls do during that time, and how have you kind of overcome the new normal?
Yeah, I'll see if I can get through this without tears, and happy tears for the most part. Yeah. We, as an organization, obviously we meet in large groups. So we have each of our sessions or sites are 40 girls and then 12 to 14 adults. So it's a fairly large group. When COVID hit in March, we had over 20 sites in session all across the Midwest. So we're in Minnesota, North Dakota, Iowa, South Dakota, and Wisconsin. The majority of our impact is still in the Red River Valley area and across North Dakota. obviously when they said, no group anything happening, we couldn't meet. So very quickly we transitioned to a virtual method, and we've heard feedback from parents that it was really the only activity that continued. We were even up and running before schools went virtual. And so parents were so thankful, and the girls were so happy to see their friends, even if it was on a screen, and be able to just say hi and interact a little bit that we could over Zoom. It took a lot of effort on our part, because our program is not modeled to be delivered virtually. So we had to modify curriculum, and we had 20 site directors who needed to be trained not only on the change in curriculum, but how to use Zoom. A lot of them are not in professions where they're sitting on technology all day. We have nurses, we have even doctors who had never used Zoom before. So there's a training component to that as well. But it was the second week of quarantine, we are back up running virtually. We had a couple site directors that said, nope, this isn't going to work for me. So we invited those sites to join the Olivet site, where I continue to be the leader. And we had upwards of 60 girls on these sessions. So we had a really big percentage of girls continue the program through the virtual process. And then we had planned to do our own 5K race in May. This year, it was our first ever 5K race. We had 500 girls in Fargo Moorhead that were going to run, plus 150 of the mentors. And then we had opened it up to the community. Well, obviously, again, that couldn't happen in May. So we turned that into a virtual race. And again, I think it was one of the first races that actually turned virtual. So the response to that was just so incredibly overwhelming in a great way. We ended up having over 1,000 participants in our virtual race. And what we heard was it was such a light in such a dark time, gave people something to look forward to and something to feel a part of when there was just nothing else happening. So we were just so grateful for the response to that. Since then, as of July 1st, we do have sessions up and running, in-person sessions, because for us, virtual is not the future. So we have obviously precautions in place, and depending on the locations, different levels of precautions are being taken, and things are going really well. One of our site directors in Little Abercrombie, North Dakota, said that first night, the girls were just giddy. And this is where I might tear up.
You're going to make me like, I'm like, talking about the virtual run, and I'm like, okay, don't start crying.
So we talk about gratitude a lot in BioGirls. And at the end of the first session, the site director asked the girls what they were grateful for. Every single one of them said, to be with my friends. And she said it was really emotional because these kids need that connection. They need to be around each other. They need to feel supported, and they need to know that they're not in this alone. And I know I'm talking a lot, but a research report was just put out by an organization that researches and does studies on mental health in adolescent girls. And they put out a report on the effects of COVID on the mental health of girls. And we always say 62% of girls suffer from self-esteem. I argue that that's probably higher, but we'll go with the 62%. But they said in this report that 80% of girls feel more alone now than ever. And I've got to get this right, I don't have it in front of me. Like one in four, 1 in 3 spend more than 6 hours a day on social media right now. And I mean, those stats alone tell me how important programs like BioGirls are for our adolescent girls, because access to programs like ours or places where girls can get that support that they need are more limited now because of COVID too. And the research also went on to say that girls who have a supportive network are far less likely to deal with mental health issues.
Wow.
And so that's why for us at BioGirls, it's so important that we step up to the challenge of COVID and I always say, we didn't just roll over and play dead. Like we faced it head on, figured out how to make it work this spring. We figured out how to make it work this summer. And unfortunately, I think we're going to be dealing with COVID for quite a while. And so we are actually actively working on how to change up our delivery model so that we can continue BioGirls no matter what the restrictions are that COVID brings.
Wow. I'm just like speechless. Like it's becoming so clear that, like we said in the beginning, this is so much more than a running program for these girls. These girls really do find their place and their friends here. And I love, though, that you just said, even though COVID is going to be sticking around for a long time, that you are still putting these in place. And even a Zoom call, I feel like, is better than nothing like you had for those couple weeks. So continuing to move forward is just so important.
It is. And I know we're going to talk Gala here shortly, but we've been doing quite a few interviews for our Gala to capture footage for our Gala. And we've heard time and time again how much BioGirls has helped girls who are dealing with mental health issues. Now, we're not pretending to be a mental health service at all. There are trained doctors and counselors for that purpose, but we are a resource to help girls who are feeling down about themselves, who are struggling to make friends, who maybe have a bit of anxiety, and we do teach skills that help them deal with all of those things. And so again, with COVID, those things are amplified, so our work is even more important.
Oh, I just absolutely love it. And yes, I want to go into the Gala that you guys have coming up. It was going to be in person, but you guys just made the decision not that long ago to go virtual. Kind of walk us through that process you went through, planning that in-person event and then deciding to go virtual. What kind of was that final straw where you're like, okay, we need to go all virtual for this?
Yeah, so this will be our second Gala. Our first one was in April of last year. We moved it to October this year because of our race, which was supposed to happen in May. So back in May, we were like, oh, thank God we didn't have our Gala in May. It'll be October, things will be good by then.
Yeah,
and
right.
Here we are, like, oh. So we have a small team. We have 3 full-time and 2 part-time employees. 3 of the employees, so 1 full-time, 2 part-time employees, their job is 100% working with sites and our volunteers at our sites to make sure that there's consistency and integrity with all of our 50 program sites. So that leaves our marketing manager, Macy, and I to work on anything fundraising related, marketing related, event related, plus all the other stuff. So we have a small team, and at the end of the day, we could not afford to wait and see. We felt like if we did that, we would have to have plans A, B, C, D, and E, and probably all the way to R, because we could decide on August 15th that we were going to do a hybrid approach, but come September 30th, that there's a big outbreak of COVID, there could be a restriction on group gatherings. And then all of a sudden we're scrambling 2 days before the event to figure out how we're going to pull it off. And so we felt, just from our sanity perspective, we had to make a decision. And we just, we have such great support, and we didn't want to put anybody at risk. And so we just decided, let's just do this virtual. We had such great support for our race and such great involvement with our race. We felt like we had some momentum from that and some learnings from that we could build on. So we made the decision to go completely virtual, which is a whole different beast than a live Gala. So it's kind of learn as we go, figure it out as we go, pretend we know what we're doing.
Right.
But, I think one of the things that we're doing this year that's different than in the past is that our fundraising efforts, even outside of our gala, are tied to the actual cost of programming for each participant in the program, which is really tangible for people. So the cost to us is $212. There's a $67.50 registration fee. So for every participant, BioGirls raises almost $150 to support them in the programming. And, we are very intentional about keeping our registration fee low. So if you compare it to other 12-week programs, it's a bargain. But at the same time, we realize that there are girls out there that can't afford that. And so we want to keep it low. We want to make sure financials are not a hurdle for any girl. And even if they can't afford the $67.50, we have scholarships. So for about 12% of our participants, we raise the full $212.
Wow.
So, we are looking at 2021, and we want to have the same impact, if not grow it. And so with our gala, we are trying to raise enough funds to support 1,000 girls, which would get us halfway to our goal for 2021 in terms of programming support. It's a huge goal. It's a goal we set before COVID hit, but we felt like we can still do it. We can make it happen. So.
Oh, I love your optimism. It's just like radiating right now. Your confidence that even though obviously there have been many roadblocks in the way, that you're not going to stop helping these girls. I think that is so inspiring. Just like watching you talk about it, it's wanting me to be like, okay, how can I help you? Like, take all my money, please, because it's
sure.
Sure. I'll tell you where you can mail the check to.
Yeah.
But I want to talk a little bit more about the gala really quick. When is it, and how can people sign up, get involved, be a part of this mission?
Yep. So our gala is October 2nd. But we really view it as our gala is already happening. So we have from the get-go tied registration to sponsoring a girl, even before we went virtual. So it was $144.50, which is the cost, what we raise per girl to participate. With that, you sponsored a girl and you got 2 tickets to the gala. Same concept for our virtual gala. We've added some fun offerings for the virtual side of things. So you have 2 options. So $144.50, 2 tickets to the virtual gala. If you're remote, or maybe you just really like to drink wine, we have some custom Yeti-like wine tumblers that you get with one package. The second package, if you're local to Fargo, we've worked with Milkmaid, Megan over at Milkmaid, to put together a meat and cheese platter for 2. So you can choose which package you'd like. We also have a virtual watch party package. So think table sponsorship at a gala. So, get 6 or 8 of your friends together and watch it at your house that evening. With that, each person gets a tumbler. And then we've worked with Grateful Cratefuls to put together a crate of goodies that you can serve that night at the virtual watch party. So that's the night of. We have a kick butt silent auction. We've had a team working really, really hard on that. And we're so grateful to all the local businesses who have stepped up to support us in that way. That silent auction will be open the entire week of the gala and close 1 hour after the gala ends. And then we have some drawings that we're doing. And then Crown Jewels is our premier sponsor of the gala. They sponsored it last year as well. And when I met with Greg a couple months into COVID and said, is this still something that you can do as a small local business? And he said, absolutely. And not only did he say absolutely, he said, we're going to increase our donation to BioGirls. He's had 3 girls go through the program, and his wife is a longtime mentor. He donated a $10,000 diamond pendant.
Wow.
And it is like, I don't know. I sent him an email when he told me that. And I said, I don't know if it's politically correct to ask, but how big is that? Because I don't know. And, but this, we have a picture of it out on social media, and I think it's on our website too, but it is so beautiful. Everybody who sponsors a girl, whether you're planning to come to the event or not, is registered to win that diamond. So the more girls you sponsor, the more registrations you get. And we're doing a few things leading up to the event where you can get 5 extra entries into it as well. So, so if our mission, if you don't connect with our mission and it's not pulling at your heartstrings, maybe the diamond will.
Connect with that diamond.
Yes.
I was told after you said wine and cheese. Like, I was like, sign me up.
And diamond.
And
what the heck?
This is Gala. But
yeah.
This is just so awesome. I love what you guys are doing for the community and for the girls in this area and further. I mean, Iowa. Wow. So you can kind of do this anywhere.
We are actually limited to the 5 states now.
Okay.
Eventually, I think our goal will be to extend that impact. But I believe that even though we had 500 girls participating in Cass and Clay counties last year, we're still not reaching all the girls. And so we're going to really focus on growing our impact in those 5 states before we just, try and go everywhere. Because the more girls that go through the program in a certain geographic area, the more community change happens. And so we're big believers of that. So we're really focused on growth in those 5 states. Plus, again, we're a small organization, and we just don't want to get into a position where we're trying to do too much and we just lose control. And there's layers of administration with every state we get into. So there's that too.
Right. All right. Well, Missy, any last final thoughts, any words you want to share with anyone?
I think just staying mission focused has kept us grounded. We have doubled in impact the last 3 years, and even though we're being conservative in terms of budgeting next year, we believe we can still grow. And in fact, just in the last couple of weeks, we've had 3 new communities who will spin up programs next year. So despite everything that's happening and the stress on everybody's personal lives and professional lives, there's people out there still saying, we need biogirls, and I'm gonna make it happen. And so to me, that's so inspiring and keeps us going here. And so I always say, like, I get a lot of kudos for starting biogirls, and I don't like it because that was not my intention for starting the program. And I was the spark, but we had this year over 600 women who made the program happen across our region. And without our volunteers, our program doesn't happen. So we're so, so grateful for them staying focused on the mission and doing the important work. It helps us stay focused on those girls that we're impacting too.
Wow, Missy, I said it before, but this has just been so inspiring. And I hope too, it's given confidence to other organizations as well that, you know what, it is a trying time right now, but there are ways around it. You can keep going, turn those events virtually, and you're still going to keep rocking 2020 and 2021.
Yeah. And you know what else I love is just the camaraderie of the nonprofit community in town. I came from I was a marketing director for a for-profit company, and always worked in the for-profit world until May of 2017 when I took the plunge to go full-time with biogirls. And I have met with so many gracious nonprofit leaders and asked them so many questions, and they're also willing to help. And I now am in a position where I feel like I can pay it forward. And so I've been able to do that a few times. But even just this last week, it was on a call with DMF actually. And Jerry from Jail Chaplains had mentioned something about their virtual gala. And so I messaged her privately, and she said, give me a call when this is done. And so I did. And we spent a half an hour on the phone, just bouncing ideas off each other. So I think that is so important. Like, we're not competitors.
Right.
Like, we can help each other's organizations grow. And I'm just so grateful for that as well.
We're definitely all in this together. But Missy, thank you so much for joining us on the official Do Good Better podcast. And thank you all for listening, watching if you're on YouTube. We definitely appreciate it. Missy, thank you so much once again, and we will see you next time.
Thanks.